The sheer duplicity and vulgarity of this woman's ghastly actions cannot be easily forgotten by the Trinidad and Tobago population. In lieu of the fact that up until the other day, Mary King was a member of Transparency International, pretending to stand for something when in fact she stands for absolutely nothing at all. The very thing she pledged to commit to and condemned others for so doing, she did herself. I suppose it is one rule for you, Mary King, and your corrupt cronies, for whom you now join ranks, and another rule for the rest of the nation. I say to you, Mary King, shame on you. Today, I have to take the time out to really show appreciation and congratulate the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Mrs. Calder in doing the right thing and firing that unethical woman. You call the Minister of Planning, Gender and what have you. More like Minister of Corruption, planning how to undermine the system and channel taxpayers' money into her own business for her own corrupt gain and pretending not to know about procurement procedures. And the fact that a minister has to declare these assets prior to taking up office. The mere fact that this woman lied and said she did not know it was the company of which she has a great deal of shares, was in fact bidding for the contract. She basically gave the contract to herself. And on top of that, she thought that she could get away undetected. The criminal that is Mary King should no longer be afforded the privilege bestowed upon her by the people of Trinidad and Tobago to represent them in our most august chamber, a symbol of our democracy. She's better off staying far away from the ambit of representation, because the only thing she knows how to represent is her own bank account and her own ugly interests. Mary King is much worse than Calder Hart and the allegations of corruption leveled against him. First of all, she implicated herself and then tried to lie once she found out that it was exposed, and say that everything was above board, which we all found out was not true. My basis for saying this is merely based on her hypocrisy and duplicity in a Sunday Guardian interview of 27th April 2008, where she proclaimed to the skies that Calder Hart has too much power. My concern, this is what she said, my concern had to do with the procurement processes and the nature of the activities with respect to cabinet oversight. Responding to the Sunday Guardian in an interview, King called for an inquiry into the operations of the Urban Development Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago, UDCOT, its chairman, and the company's awarding of contracts. She felt allowing Hart to control 20% of the country's annual budget was too much power. There really should be proper control. Hart has been holding down so many positions, which is an open door for corruption and lack of transparency. Is that right, Mary King? No other country in the world would give one man so much power. This should not happen, an outspoken King said. Okay. King also questioned Hart's background, saying the country knew very little about him. You could say the very same thing about you, Mary. Now hear this. Listen to what she says. Does he, Hart, declare his assets to the Integrity Commission? And does UDCOT have proper tendering procedures? She questioned. Oh, well, look, King. Hang on. No. I didn't just hear that with my own ears, did I? Hang on. Let me repeat that to you. Does he, Hart, declare his assets to the Integrity Commission? And does Unicott have proper tendering procedures? Did Mary King go to one of Margaret Rose's renowned lectures on the need for procurement practices and adequate legislation in TNT, so that government confidence can be regained and its ability to tackle this corruption head on? Did she go and not actually listen to a word of it? Or did she merely copy and paste what she hears without understanding? Because it clearly seems so. Mary, I pose that same question to you, Mrs. Hypocrisy. Did you, Mary, declare your assets to the Integrity Commission? And does your, former ministry, since you've been fired for corruption, have proper tendering procedures? Oh, I'm sure you cannot answer me that. Why? Because you only did things just like a lot of people and politicians from all camps in Trinidad and Tobago, for the show, for the cameras, and for the limelight. Where's the honesty? You reach right? Who are you, Mary King? Well, we certainly know now. A woman who was entrusted by the people of Trinidad and Tobago to represent their needs without fear or favor or ill will. But instead of the art of service to the people, Mary King sought to enrich herself and her own company and tried to deceive us all, as if we the people are dumb and to be taken for fools. I hear the prison doors calling your name, Mary King. There is sufficient evidence to charge you with all-out corruption. In future, lady, don't be corrupt. That also goes for all PNM, all UNC, and all COP, present and future prospective candidates. We cannot afford this. Politicians altogether, people are just fed up of the greed and self-interested buffoons who care nothing about the people and their needs and requirements. Stop feeding your ugly, greasy, filthy pockets and start addressing the concerns of all the citizens of our great nation. And one more thing. Jack Warner, you're next.